In a land where the elements ruled and ancient forces stirred beneath the earth, Ariella Stormguard was destined to change the fate of the world. A descendant of a once great lineage, she was the last of her kind, inheriting the bloodline that wielded the power of the elements. Yet, for years, that power remained dormant within her, locked away by fear and uncertainty. Ariella had always felt different. The winds seemed to whisper her name. The ground beneath her feet trembled as if recognizing her presence. But it wasn't until the day she encountered the great sage Arion that her true destiny was revealed. Arion, a guardian of the ancient elemental knowledge, appeared before her in a vision, cloaked in light. His voice echoed in her mind. Ariella, the time has come. The elements are in chaos, and the balance of the world is crumbling. Only you can restore it. But first, you must master the 4 elements: fire, water, earth, and wind. The journey will be perilous, and the fate of all rests in your hands. The next morning, Ariella stood at the edge of the forest near her village, her heart pounding with anticipation. She knew the path before her would be fraught with danger, but the weight of her lineage pushed her forward. Armed with nothing but a sword passed down from her ancestors and her growing connection to the elements, she set out. By her side was her faithful companion, Naira, a mysterious creature with eyes that gleamed like the night sky. Naira had been with Ariella since childhood, though no one knew where the creature had come from. Naira was more than just a companion. She was a guide, tied to Ariella's destiny in ways yet to be revealed. Their first destination was the realm of fire, where the flames burned eternal and the Lord of Flames, Ignar, reigned supreme. To unlock the power of fire, Ariella would need to face Ignar and prove herself worthy. The air around them grew hotter as they approached the gates of the fire realm. The sky above was painted in hues of red and orange, and the ground beneath their feet crackled with heat. As they entered the realm, towering volcanoes loomed in the distance, their molten cores pulsating with fiery energy. Ignar's fortress stood at the heart of the realm, a massive structure forged from obsidian and flame. Inside, the heat was almost unbearable, but Ariella pressed on. She could feel the power of fire calling to her, resonating deep within her soul. In the great hall of the fortress, Ignar awaited. The Fire Lord was a massive figure, his body seemingly made of living flames. His voice rumbled like the roar of an inferno. "Who dares to challenge the flame?" he demanded, his fiery gaze fixed on Ariella. "I am Ariella Stormguard," she declared, her voice steady despite the heat. "I have come to master the power of fire." Ignar's laughter echoed through the hall. "Many have tried and many have failed. Fire is destruction, chaos, and rebirth. To control it, you must first survive it." With a wave of his hand, Ignar summoned a wall of flame that rose between them. The heat was intense, but Ariella did not flinch. She closed her eyes, focusing on the fire within her, the dormant power that Arion had spoken of. As the flames roared around her, Ariella's mind cleared. She understood that to control the fire, she could not fight it. She had to become one with it. Slowly, she raised her hand, and the flames began to bend to her will. The wall of fire parted, and she stepped through, her body unharmed. Ignar watched in silence as Ariella approached. When she stood before him, he nodded in approval. "You have faced the flame and survived. The power of fire is now yours, but this is only the beginning. The other elements will not be so easily tamed." Ariella stood tall before Ignar, the heat of the flames reflecting in her determined eyes. The air inside the chamber was thick and oppressive, and even Naira, her trusted companion, had withdrawn to a safe distance to watch in silence. This was Ariella's trial, and she would face it alone. Ignar rose from his throne, his massive hands gesturing to the roaring fires surrounding them. "To claim the power of fire, you must first endure its searing heat," he said, his voice like the crackle of burning wood. "Fire does not just destroy, it purifies. You may burn to ash, or you may rise anew." Before Ariella, a towering wall of flame surged upwards, spinning chaotically. She knew this trial was as much a test of her spirit as it was of her body. To control the fire, she couldn't submit to it, she had to merge with it. Closing her eyes, she took a deep breath, recalling Arion's teachings. The elements serve those who discover their inner truth. Do not fear them, become one with them. As the flames reached her, instead of bracing for the burn, Ariella embraced the heat. It licked at her skin but did not consume her. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself standing within the fire, untouched. The power of the flames was merging with her, flowing through her veins. Ignar watched, his fiery eyes narrowing in contemplation. "So you truly are worthy," he muttered. With a flick of his hand, the flames receded, and he returned to his throne. "The power of fire is yours, but know this, your journey is far from over. Craxus, your ultimate foe, is far more dangerous. To defeat him, you must master all 4 elements." Ariella nodded, feeling the weight of her responsibility. The power of fire surged within her, but she knew her next challenge awaited in the water realm. Ariella and Naira made their way towards the realm of water, a place known for its serene beauty and treacherous depths. The air grew cooler as they approached the realm, and the sound of flowing water filled their ears. Rivers twisted and turned through lush landscapes, and sparkling waterfalls cascaded down from high cliffs. As they entered the realm, Ariella marveled at the vibrant life surrounding her. The essence of water was everywhere, from the gentle streams to the mighty oceans. However, beneath the surface lay a deeper danger. The queen of water, Aquara, ruled with both grace and fury. After a long journey, they reached the Temple of Waves, a majestic structure built of coral and stone. The temple was surrounded by a vast ocean, and the waves crashed against its pillars. Ariella felt the pull of the water, the energy swirling around her, inviting her closer. Inside the temple, Aquara awaited, sitting on a throne made of shimmering pearls and seashells. Her long hair flowed like liquid silver, and her eyes reflected the depths of the ocean. "Who dares seek the power of water?" she asked, her voice a soothing melody that echoed in the chamber. "I am Ariella Stormguard," Ariella replied, her heart steady. "I have come to master the power of water." Aquara smiled gently, but her gaze was sharp. "Water is fluid and ever-changing. To control it, you must first understand its nature. Are you ready for the challenge?" As Aquara waved her hand, the waters of the ocean surged around Ariella, forming a swirling vortex. To gain the power of water, you must immerse yourself in its depths and face your fears. Only then can you learn to navigate its currents. With that, the vortex pulled Ariella under the water, and she found herself enveloped in a world of silence and weightlessness. The water around her was cold, and the pressure threatened to crush her. Panic began to rise within her, but she remembered Arion's words, "Embrace the elements, do not fight against them." Ariella took a deep breath, allowing the water to fill her lungs. Instead of struggling, she surrendered to the current, letting it guide her deeper. As she descended, she encountered visions of her past, moments of doubt, fear, and pain. But she also saw flashes of hope, courage, and strength. Embracing these memories, Ariella felt a connection with the water around her. She understood that it was not just a force to be controlled, but a source of life and healing. With that realization, the pressure began to lift, and the water transformed from a foe into an ally. Ariella emerged from the depths, gasping for air as she broke the surface of the ocean. The swirling vortex calmed, and she found herself back in the temple before Aquara. The Queen of Water regarded her with newfound respect. "You have faced your fears and emerged stronger. The power of water is now yours." With the power of water coursing through her, Ariella and Naira set their sights on the realm of air. The landscape shifted once more as they journeyed through rolling hills that gave way to towering mountains. The air was crisp and invigorating, filled with the scent of freedom. The entrance to the air realm was marked by 2 massive stone pillars, intricately carved with swirling patterns that danced in the wind. Ariella took a deep breath, feeling the gentle breeze kiss her skin. Here, the Queen of Wind, Zephyra, awaited. As they entered, the sky above darkened, and a storm began to brew. Zephyra appeared before them, her presence commanding yet ethereal. "Who dares seek the power of wind?" she called, her voice carrying through the tempest. "I am Ariella Stormguard," Ariella declared boldly. "I have come to master the power of wind." Zephyra's laughter echoed like thunder. "The wind is a wild force, untamed and unpredictable. To control it, you must dance with it, not fight it." The storm around them intensified, and Ariella braced herself against the gusts. "To gain the power of wind, you must endure the tempest and find your center within the chaos," Zephyra instructed. Ariella focused, grounding herself as the winds whipped around her. She felt herself being pulled in every direction, her body fighting against the overwhelming force. But instead of resisting, she remembered her connection to the elements. With a deep breath, Ariella let go of her fears and surrendered to the winds. As she did, she felt a surge of energy within her, the winds wrapping around her like a protective embrace. In that moment, she became one with the storm, her body soaring above the chaos. Zephyra watched in amazement as Ariella danced through the air, her movements fluid and graceful. The storm calmed as Ariella found her rhythm, the winds obeying her every command. "You have proven yourself," Zephyr said, her voice filled with approval. "The power of wind is now yours, but remember, with freedom comes great responsibility." Having mastered the power of the three elements, Ariella and Naira journeyed to the Earth realm, where the foundation of all existence lay. The landscape was rugged and raw, mountains towering high, and valleys stretching wide. The air was thick with the scent of soil and life. As they approached the heart of the Earth realm, they found themselves in a vast forest, ancient trees standing tall and wise. The ground pulsated with energy, a living entity waiting to be awakened. At the center of this realm was Gaia, the Earth Mother, a figure of immense strength and nurturing grace. "Who seeks the power of the earth?" Gaia's voice resonated like a deep rumble, echoing through the forest. "I am Ariella Stormguard," Ariella replied, feeling the earth beneath her feet tremble in recognition. "I have come to master the power of earth." Gaia regarded her with a knowing smile. "To control the earth, you must first understand its strength and its fragility. It is both a giver of life and a force of destruction. Are you prepared for this trial?" Gaia raised her hand, and the ground beneath Ariella shook violently. "To gain the power of earth, you must face the trials of strength and resilience," she said. Ariella braced herself as the earth split open, revealing a chasm filled with darkness. "You must descend into the depths and confront your greatest fears. Only then can you rise stronger." With a determined heart, Ariella stepped into the chasm. The darkness enveloped her, and she felt an overwhelming sense of despair. Visions of her past failures flashed before her, moments of weakness that haunted her. But as she stood in the abyss, she felt the presence of the earth around her. Ariella reached deep within, tapping into the strength of her ancestors. She understood that the earth was not just a physical entity. It was a reservoir of memories, wisdom, and resilience. As she embraced this connection, the darkness began to fade, and the light of the earth illuminated her path. Emerging from the chasm, Ariella stood before Gaia once more, a newfound strength radiating from her. "You have faced your fears and emerged stronger," Gaia said, her voice filled with warmth. "The power of earth is now yours. With the powers of fire, water, wind, and earth coursing through her, Ariella felt an overwhelming sense of purpose. She knew that her journey was not just about mastering the elements. It was about using that power to protect the world from the impending darkness of Craxus. As Ariella and Naira prepared for their final confrontation, they journeyed to the Crest of Elements, a sacred site where the energies of all four elements converged. It was here that Ariella would unite her powers and prepare for the battle against Craxus. At the crest, the winds howled, the earth trembled, the waters flowed in rhythm, and the flames danced in harmony. Ariella stood at the center, her heart pounding with anticipation. She raised her arms, calling upon the elemental powers that now belonged to her. "Together, we will protect our world," she shouted, her voice ringing with conviction. In that moment, the elements responded, intertwining around her in a magnificent display of power. The energy surged through her, filling her with a sense of invincibility. Ariella understood that she was not just a wielder of elemental magic. She was the embodiment of balance and harmony. With her newfound strength, Ariella and Naira made their way to Craxus' fortress, a dark and ominous structure that loomed over the landscape. As they approached, the air crackled with tension, and the ground felt heavy with dread. Craxus awaited them, his dark aura palpable. The moment they entered the fortress, Craxus appeared before them, his eyes glinting with malice. "You dare challenge me, Stormguard?" he hissed, his voice laced with contempt. "You are but a child playing with forces you cannot comprehend." "I am no longer just a child," Ariella replied boldly. "I am the protector of the elements, and I will not let you plunge our world into darkness." Craxus laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the hall. "Foolish girl, you think your little powers can stand against me?" The battle erupted, the air thick with energy as Ariella called upon the elements. Flames erupted from her hands, the ground trembled beneath her feet, water surged to form protective barriers, and the winds howled in response to her command. Craxus countered with dark energy, shadows swirling around him like a storm. The clash of their powers sent shockwaves through the fortress, shaking its very foundations. Ariella fought with all her might, drawing strength from the unity of the elements. But Craxus was relentless. He unleashed waves of darkness that threatened to engulf her. In that moment, Ariella remembered her connection to the earth, the strength of her ancestors, and the wisdom of the elements. She focused her energy, channeling the power of all four elements into one unified force. "Together, we are stronger," she shouted, unleashing a brilliant beam of elemental energy that surged towards Craxus. The beam struck Craxus with blinding intensity, illuminating the fortress with a radiant light. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as the energies collided. Craxus howled in fury, his dark power faltering against the brilliance of Ariella's unity. With one final surge of strength, Ariella poured every ounce of her power into the attack. The light exploded, engulfing Craxus and shattering the darkness that surrounded him. As the light faded, Craxus was left weakened, his dark form crumbling to dust. Ariella stood victorious, her heart racing with adrenaline. The elements were in harmony, and balance had been restored to the world. With Craxus defeated, the world began to heal. The skies cleared, the lands flourished, and the elements rejoiced in their unity. Ariella felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that her journey had not only strengthened her, but had also brought peace to the realm. As she stood at the crest of elements, she reflected on her journey, the trials she had faced, the powers she had mastered, and the friendships she had forged. Ariella Stormguard was no longer just a name. She had become a legend, a beacon of hope. Naira, her faithful companion, nuzzled against her side, and together they looked out over the land they had fought to protect. "This is just the beginning, Naira," Ariella whispered, her heart full of determination. "We will continue to protect this world, no matter what challenges lie ahead." And with that promise, a new adventure awaited, one filled with endless possibilities and the unbreakable bond of the elements.